Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Leader Tree. I'm your host, Chris Miller, and today we're going to be talking about perseverance. Perseverance in the face of danger, perseverance in the face of adversity, just perseverance. You know, I've met a lot of people over the years, and I met people that have regrets in life. And most of the regrets that they often come down to they gave up on something. They come down to they didn't persevere long enough, hard enough. And that's what they regret. They don't regret the failure itself. They don't regret where they went wrong. They regret that they gave up and didn't really push through. You know? And that's, I guess I can understand that because it matters when you give up on yourself. And people give up on themselves before they give up on ideas and when they give up on things. It's funny, you can be completely convinced that something is the right thing. You can be completely convinced that something is the right avenue to take. Something is the right plan, the right go through, the right solution. I mean, 100% convinced that you're on the right path. And when things don't go according to plan, you can give up on yourself and say to yourself, I'm not good enough, and still believe in the plan. Still believe with full conviction that it's the right thing. But you give up on you. You don't persevere through it. And that happens all too often. And I have seen it happen to good men and women all too often. People that don't believe in themselves. People that should believe in themselves. When I was in the war, well, let's back up. When I joined the Army, seems like 1,000 years ago now. When I joined the Army, I went in there and I took my test. They said, you can do whatever you want with these scores. And I said, well, I'd like to help, save lives if I could. Prevent people from getting killed. And they said, okay, go be a medic. I said, well, I don't want to be a medic. See, because being a medic, nothing wrong with them. We need medics. But they're reactionary, aren't they? I wanted to be proactive. I didn't want to be reactive. See, a medic only has a job once somebody gets injured. Right? I wanted to stop problems before they started. So I joined the NBC program, which stood for Nuclear, Biological, Chemical. And I became an NBC specialist. And as an NBC specialist, my job was to train people how to survive in a nuclear, biological, or chemical environment. So if there was a contaminated area of any kind, I was your guy to teach you how to get through it safely and alive. But before I was allowed to go and do that, I had to learn how to do it. Right? And I spent 6 months learning that job. And the final exam, the final test, I had to go through what's called the toxic agent chamber with a live nerve agent designed by Uncle Sam to kill me. And I had to be in that chamber for an hour and a half, armed only with a gas mask to keep me alive from a very horrible death. Okay? I had one big problem. I couldn't keep that mask on my face for more than 30 seconds without hyperventilating to the point where I had to rip it off my face. I mean, I would freak out, man. I would freak out. I couldn't breathe. I started to breathe heavier and heavier and shallower, and I just couldn't, and you know what, and I couldn't catch my breath, and then I'd rip it off my face and gasp for air. Let me tell you something. When you're in a room full of deadly poisonous gas, that's not a good option. But I wasn't going to let that beat me. Because I had a job to do, and I wanted to do it. I joined the Army to save lives, to protect people. I wasn't going to let them send me home because I couldn't conquer my own fear and persevere. So I practiced. And I started with 1 minute. Worked my way up to 2. 2 became 3, and then 5, and then 10. And so on and so forth. An hour, 2 hours. Till I could go to sleep with that thing on. And I did go through the toxic agent chamber. And I did get out there and do my job professionally. And I was one of the best guys at my job. And while I was in the war, I did save the lives of 243 soldiers and civilians. 243 people are out there right now, walking around on this planet, because I didn't give up on myself. I didn't quit when it looked like it was hard. I didn't stop when it looked like I couldn't be successful, like I would fail. You see, the key to success, folks, is not just taking action, like everyone will tell you. It's more than that. It's persistently pursuing that action until you're successful. Just like you, I had a passion for doing my job and a need to do it well. And when I was worried that I couldn't do it or that I might fail or that I might even die in that chamber, by persevering until I succeeded, I was able to save 243 lives. I was a success because I didn't quit on myself. And I believe you have that power within you as well. We all do. Perseverance. When you look back at your life years from now, are you going to find regrets? Do you have them already? And if you do have regrets, analyze them. What is it that you really regret? You might be surprised to find out that what you regret the most is not your failures, but it's how you gave up too soon. How you allowed something to get one over on you. And you hung it up. Now, I don't want to tell you that I'm infallible here. I mean, I've made mistakes too, where I've said, screw it, I can't do this. And I gave up. Just today, for example, I've been working on a website. I started this website this morning at 6 a.m. And I worked on it all day until 2 p.m. And I tested every connection, and I tested every link, and I tested everything, and everything worked well. And I said, I'm happy with it. I clicked the button, go live now. And it ate up my whole website. It just deleted everything. It's gone. All the files, everything I did, all the work, the website itself, the registry, everything is gone. When I think of all of that work I put into it, that's deflating, man. To know that I have to start over from scratch. That's deflating, man. And I gave up on it today. But I'm not going to give up. I'm going to get up tomorrow. And once I get into the office, I'm going to start over from scratch. And I'm going to do it. But I will admit, it took the rest of me out. It took me out of my day. I had things planned for this afternoon that I just canceled on. I just called him up and said, I can't do this. I will have to reschedule. And that's what I did. I gave up on it. I didn't persevere through it because it was just too much. But I will get back in there tomorrow. I will keep going. I will persevere. And I will be successful, and that website will be up there. Because that's what leaders do. We keep going. We don't stop until the job is done. That's what it's all about. And when you look back and say, this was my life, I don't want you to have regrets. I don't want you to say, oh, I should have kept going on that. Because you're better than that. Each and every one of us. We're better than that. So if you've got a dream, why is it still a dream? Is it a dream because you gave up on it? Is it a dream because you didn't persevere? Is it a dream because you just can't get your head wrapped around continuing? Or is it a dream because you're still going after it, but you just haven't got it right yet? See, one side of that coin sucks. The other side is okay. One side of that coin is straight alley toward failure. The other side of that coin may be riddled with failure, but it's on the alley towards success. And as it keeps moving forward, bouncing from failure to failure, it's getting closer to success. As long as it perseveres. As long as it keeps rolling forward. That's what leaders do. They roll forward. That's what you do. That's what I do. There is no room in our lives for giving up. Listen, folks, there are 243 people walking around on this little blue marble in space that are happy that I didn't give up on myself. I wonder how many are going to be glad that you didn't give up on yourself. Think about that. When you don't get the right cards, sometimes you got to trade them out. Instead of fold. That's the way we do it, right? That's the way it rolls, man. That's the way it goes. Because failure is not a factory installed option. It's something that we learn to live with. Literally. In most people's life, the number one thing they learn is the word no. It's the first word they're taught. In school, they teach you to color inside the lines. Right? Everyone always wants you to conform. Everybody wants you to do it the easy way. If you color outside the lines, you're some sort of radical, crazy kid. Right? And God help you if you color somebody on a drawing by a different color. I colored a picture of Donald Duck once, right? Now Donald Duck, if you can take a mental picture in your mind, Donald Duck is a white duck with a blue shirt on, a blue navy shirt. I did it backwards. I drew him as a blue duck with a white navy shirt. Why? Because I felt like it. It's my interpretation of what I wanted to do that particular time. But you would have thought that I had committed some sin against nature. It's a freaking drawing. Oh no, that could not be allowed. No. That had to be taken and shown to my parents. I had to be sent with a note to my mom to talk about my nonconformity and my attitude because I drew a blue duck. I didn't even draw it. It was already on the paper. All I did was color it. We're always taught from the beginning to do things one way and one way only. But one way isn't the answer. If we did that the same, think of how boring life would be if everybody did everything the same way all the time. There'd be no innovation, for one. Yeah, you look at all the inventions around your room that you're in. Maybe a light bulb, maybe a ceiling fan, maybe I don't know, a book. You know what I mean? A television, a cell phone. These are innovations. These are people not doing what everybody else did at the time. People didn't write in books. They wrote in scrolls when the first dude decided to put it in a book. I know it's hard for most of you to believe at this point, but cell phones didn't used to exist. Not so damn long ago either. You had to go to a payphone if you were out and about. Somebody came up with the idea, what if I could put a supercomputer in my pocket? Oh, and while I'm at it, maybe it should be able to make calls. Conformity? No thanks. That's a boring life. Innovation. But do you think that those inventions happened the first time out of the gate? More importantly, do you think they took off right away? You know how long it took Apple Computer to start? They went place after place after place. Nobody wanted to give them a start till they got through the right door. All of a sudden, the world was their oyster. Perseverance. The key is not taking an action and creating the thing. The key is persevering until you make that action successful. The key is never stopping until you reach the goal. That's what leaders do. That's what leaders do. And every single one of us can do it. Every single one of us can look back on our lives and say, I got no regrets because I never gave up. And if you gave up on something years ago, it's not too late. It's not too late. Get out there and revive it if you can. Give it everything you got and make it your new reality. Every invention is steeped in creativity. Creativity doesn't exist with conformity. Conformity only exists when we give up on ourselves and our ability to think. You don't ever want to color inside the lines. You know, there's a test they did. I forget the name of it. But anyway, it involves these 9 dots, right? They make a box. So there's 3 dots on top, 3 dots in the middle, 3 dots in the bottom. So you got a little box. You're supposed to take your pen, put it down on one point, connect all 9. I think with 3 straight lines without lifting your pen. 3 lines, 4 lines, something like that. I don't remember exactly how it goes. But anyway, the point is, you can't do it if you stay within the little box. You got to go outside the box. This is where that phrase comes from. Think outside the box. You got to go outside the box in order to make it work. But you can make it work if you do that. Nowhere in the rules does it say you have to stay inside that box. But 90% of everybody who took that test did just that. They stayed inside that little box, that little cube. And they said, it can't be done. And they gave up. They didn't persevere. They let it go. There is no joy in baseball today, you know. I don't know what to tell you. You can't do it. Leaders don't give up. Leaders keep moving forward. Keep coming up with a solution until you got a solution that works. That's what it's about. Sometimes you got to go outside that box that you put yourself in. And it's usually a self-incriminating box, right? It's a box that you're building for yourself. That you're putting yourself into. Not the world around you putting you in there. It's self-imposed. You're putting yourself in there. You don't want to do that. But you know what? Every box has? It's got a lid. And you can open that lid and step out of there. You just got to make the effort to do so. And that effort is perseverance. That effort is not giving up. You have what it takes to live out your dreams. You have what it takes to be everything that you've ever wanted to be. That's not just some junk your parents tell you. That is reality. But we live in a world today where people get trophies for showing up. Where they're taught they don't need to be the best at something. They just need to be okay at it. Where school systems say, oh, well, you all failed high school, and so many of you failed high school, we're going to go ahead and bring down the entire grade level so that you just pass. That way we can move you on. When the world continues to dumb itself down, we are getting rid of our free thinkers. We're getting rid of our willingness to keep going. We're getting rid of our passion and our drive toward perseverance until we succeed. We dull out competition until it's not even a concern for people. Kids don't even get out of bed anymore. They don't even go outside anymore. You tell them go grab the mail, and they walk outside and they're shielding their eyes from the sun like they're vampires. That's the world we live in. I would encourage you all to persevere toward your goals and never give up on yourselves. Because the world won't give up on you if you don't give up on us. Folks, it's been fun having you here tonight. Thank you very much for your patronage of the Leader Tree. If you feel like it, we encourage you to visit theleadertree.com, sign up for our mailing list, and visit us on our Facebook group, the Leader Tree Network, and talk to us there. All right? Until then, I'm Chris Miller reminding you, always keep smiling.